Voice note number 4 coming to you from our morning walk. Finally getting back outside in the morning. It is like gross outside this morning in that it's just muggy and super hot and the air feels thick, but I'm grateful to be on a walk this morning and thought that I would finally talk about the assessment we took recently and why I decided to take it and how my son did and what our goal is. I'm a former principal, former teacher. We put a lot of emphasis on the assessment for a few reasons, and there's definitely always the argument of like, are you teaching to the test? And assessments, can have like messed up public education because it's all about the assessment and not about curiosity and learning. I agree with those things and understand the reason why we have assessments in America and other countries. The power of them, both power for good and power that's not so great. That being said, I am very comfortable with assessments. I wanted to have my son take these assessments for the benefits that I see, which are just getting him used to taking tests, because if he chooses to go to college, he will need to take tests for that. I plan for him to get a high school diploma, which will most likely come, if we continue homeschooling, will come through a GED assessment. So he's going to have to take a test at some point. So why not let him get comfortable with those, let him understand that it's not the end of the world. I have seen stress come to children because the assessment is so hyped up, or they're just not used to it and they're confused. I just want him to be familiar with it and treat them like they are. One snapshot of where he currently is, giving himself the opportunity to show what he knows, do his very best. That's one reason. The other reason is I am homeschooling for freedom. I'm homeschooling because I want to give my child the best education possible, and I want to make sure I'm not missing things, and I want to make sure he still gets the skills he should be getting, if he gets them before or after his peers. And I don't want to let years go by where someone his age already was doing something and he didn't learn it or get the opportunity to learn it. This assessment I chose to give him is one that I used in the school that I was a teacher and leader in. It's called NWEA MAP. MAP is MAP, like the map you use for directions. This test I used homeschoolboss.com. Since I have been an administrator, I understand what she's doing. I'm not sure if she has a partnership with the organization or how she has set this up, but she is acting as a school in the testing platform. She assigns your child to her school and will open the test at your test administration time and close it after. So you can go to her site and sign up for a time for your child to take this test. It is $60 for one test, and I think you can do a discounted rate if you pay for the fall, winter, and spring assessments, which I think we'll do next year. Okay, so this assessment is in reading and math based off of the grade level that your child is in. It's an adaptive test, meaning that it adapts to your child's abilities and skills and what they're doing on the assessment. So it'll start them at one level, and if they get the question right, then it'll give them a more challenging question. If they get a question wrong, it'll give them an easier question. If you do choose to give your child this test, give them a heads up, because there's going to become a point where they're going to get stuff that's way too hard for them, and it could become frustrating if they don't understand that that means they're actually doing really well. By the end of the assessment, you receive a percentile comparing your child to children their age at the same time of the year across the country, because this is a national test. In math, spring and kindergarten spring is in the 75th percentile. That means that they scored higher than 75 of children in kindergarten in spring. So I like that piece because you can just say like, okay, where do they stand currently right now? And I know that the comparison piece will rub some folks the wrong way. I get it, and to each his own, but I like to know for the reason I shared earlier. We end up doing at the end of the year reading and math. We did math first, so he's definitely more confident in math than in reading. So we did that to build his confidence up, and then we did the math test. The other thing that comes is a full report that shares information about where he stands on each topic area within each subject. I really have not looked at that yet. I plan to look at it as we continue working over the summer and then into the school year, because I would like to see him grow in this assessment and grow in his skills. So that's my plan. This was his first test, and we do some computer learning, but he's still growing in his skills on the computer. I didn't mention this assessment is on the computer. He definitely still has areas to grow in his skills on the computer. So I actually sat with him while he took the test, did not help him with any of the test questions. And I was clear about that because he's with me one-on-one every day. So he's like, why can't you help me? So I had to explain to him that I'm not helping him, but I did help him with the computer parts of it. I did not want to use this test to test his computer skills. I wanted to use the test to test his reading and math. And so I did help him if he didn't understand where to put the answer or how the little speaker button meant they would read the question again to him. So that's part of the other reason why I have not analyzed the actual bigger reports, because I sat with him, so I saw exactly what questions he got right, what questions he didn't get right. And so I have a good understanding of what things I want to practice with him. How did he do on reading? He scored in the 88th percentile. Very proud of him, especially because reading is not his favorite subject, and we have had plenty of challenging days with reading. And so that was really good, because that allowed me to like hype him up and let him know how good he is of a reader, so it can build his confidence in our lesson. So unintended consequence of giving this assessment is like definitely has built his confidence. And then in math, he scored in the 82nd percentile, which was surprising that it was lower than reading, but not because we have not made it through our math curriculum. There were plenty of questions, specifically subtraction, that he got wrong, all of them wrong, because we have not gone over like the symbol and specifically like how to write subtraction problems. We're doing it actually right now, but at the time of doing the test, we had not. And he can contextually understand subtraction if we talk through, like, mom gave you 4 cookies and you ate 2 of them. How many do you have left? He understands that, but he didn't understand that that was 4 minus 2 equals 2. And some of the assessment was very explicit around this is subtraction. I am not surprised that he did not get those questions correct, and I know that impacted his score. I'm looking forward to the fall where we give this assessment again.